Hi everyone, Dove Schafer and Brodie Whitney back again with another check-in.
All right, good to see you. So, day 5, week 2, and we just had an amazing lunch with Bibiano Fernandes. He's world champion MMA fighter, a good friend, and he's been part of this whole Facing Dragons journey for the past few years.
Current world champion, 1FC.
Exactly. Um, we'll post some links, below about him if you want to learn some more about his journey. And he's someone who has faced his dragons, facing his dragons, riding his dragons, and someone who lives the philosophy of what we're teaching and training people to embrace in this Facing Dragons quest. To be able to take the challenges, the problems, the opportunities, and to transform them into your gifts and growth, and ultimately for you to use these dragons and these problems, challenges, to help you become who you're here to become.
Yeah, and we had a lunch with him today, and it was actually really awesome, really inspiring. It was great to get to face, eye to eye, look at this guy and see his strength, and ask him if he wants to be an inspiration to others through our game, and the answer is yes. And so we're gonna work with Bibiano as one of our heroes in the Hall of Heroes.
Do you want to talk about the Hall of Heroes?
The Hall of Heroes is a building in the starting city where you unlock through your quests heroes that appear there. Those heroes, you'll be able to see their narrative done in a sort of a graphic novel type way and interact with their story in audio, and then do a quest for them. And it's a sort of an inspiring thing, and it filters back into the rest of the quests in the game. It's a source of real life stories to be a connection to the real world.
Yeah. I know for me, when I was, 21, 22, 23, when I was, in that transition from being a teenager to a young adult, trying to answer those questions, who am I, why am I here? One of the things that was most frustrating for me was trying to find real people in the world who truly inspired me. And so that's a huge part of the intention, for sharing this Hall of Heroes, Viviano and his story. He's a real person in the real world, not just some mythological character.
But he'll also be a mythological character, which is also super fun.
Exactly.
So dragon riders represent one aspect, one dragon, really well, and other dragons also. So Bibiano's going to be something to do with inspiring with his life story, and we'll fit that in whatever dragon works best. But the point is that he's inspiring, and the point is that I think it's a great idea to use real inspiring people.
Absolutely. Another thing that we're doing, we haven't talked about this much. We mentioned the elders, elder wisdom stories.
Yeah.
Will be another aspect we'll be weaving in a similar way.
We could talk more about that in another video because I have a lot to say about that too. It has to do with my senior supervisor's research, and it's super interesting. So the little teaser for that later, the legacy story thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the outline that we've come up with?
Well, we've come up with a really good flow in terms of what the solo quest looks like and when the solo quest ends. Also, what you do to interact with the city in the first place before you join your pod, before you join a group of other players. And we're going to post that below this video as a graphic. Also a little bit about what character selection might look like and how you look at your character sheet to chart your progression through what we call the energy wheel, which is represents how far you've made it along each of these quests in your life.
Yeah. So we're having some fun, getting very creative. It's coming together in a graphical way.
But it's real.
Yeah, one of the things people have asked is like, sounds cool, I really don't understand what it looks like. Well, you're going to get to start to look, see what it's going to look like.
Yeah, how is this a game? Well, this is a game because it gets you to do stuff in the real world in a fun way. And this is, your interface. You're going to get a little bit of a insight into our interface ideas, and that'll help you imagine the game in play.
Yeah. Do you want to describe the flow, or would you like me to describe it?
Go ahead.
Okay. So essentially, you're entering your Facing Dragons quest. There's 2 elements that you're going to be interacting with. Maybe there'll be a building, buildings in the city. We'll see. But one is character creation. You're developing your avatar, which in a sense is creating your character is also about self-discovery. You're discovering, for example, what's been your story up until now about what you can and can't do, who you are and who you're not. They're calling it so far the old story or the backstory. And you're literally choosing a character. So these are going to be animated characters. You're going to choose some kind of power symbol, an element or tool, and you're going to get a quest card, a quest character. The other aspect that you'll be interacting at in the beginning, which we're calling the solo quest, is the leadership training aspect. So you're going to be gaining training and skills that you're going to need in your quest. First piece being like, do you consider yourself a leader? This is a leadership quest, so we're training you to be a leader and giving you the skills and the understanding of leadership through quests. We're not just teaching you. You're going to be, taking quests to find out your own relationship with leadership. So those are the first two parts.
And they're all gamified, by the way. Each quest is gamified in 3 different ways. We'll get more into that later, but you get to choose if you want to do something competitive, collaborative, or sort of active. And there's other things too, like exploration or breaking something, which is like called a disruptor. So we'll go through all the different gamification styles, and you'll get to chart your course through these games.
Yeah. And then once you've completed these, the training and developed your avatar to a point where you're ready to take the quest, then you'll approach the Gatekeeper. You haven't faced any dragons yet, so this Gatekeeper is going to make sure that you're ready to face your dragons. If you're not ready, well, you're going to be booted back to do some more training so you can be prepared, because like Dove says, there's dragons out there and you're going to be facing them, real dragons. So the Gatekeeper is going to guide you through some quests.
And this is also from a practical perspective, where we're making sure participants and players are ready to interact with other players on the platform. They have the tools they need to communicate openly and effectively with other players without being judgmental, without being closed-minded, just letting people really speak their truth to them and having some ability to reflect that back to them in a useful way. So we do a little real training so that people are interacting properly on the platform, and that's an essential part of the solo quest.
Yeah. One of the things that people are going to have when they go into the next level, which is multiplayer or joining a pod, is basic coach training. I call it ABCs and 1, 2, 3s of coaching. It's essential coaching leadership. So players can be supporting each other in their quest, helping them with their goals, helping them face challenges that otherwise, they just wouldn't or haven't done on their own. Players will also have the option to continue in solo, but we'll constantly be encouraging them to join a pod or join a group.
So you can tell we've done a ton of design work, and we wanted to kind of tell it all to you right now. But a lot of this is going to be more clearly explained later. But I think what I really wanted to show people in the video today is that we've made a lot of progress on the overall narrative arc.
Yeah.
Because we could talk forever, and we tend to.
It's been a productive 24 hours since we found out we were going to meet with Viviano, so that's been some good motivation for us to get the flow together and chart it out on paper. And he seems pretty excited about it.
Yeah, he's awesome, and I'm glad we have him on board.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us.